What's happening, good people? What's going on with you? Hoping you're having a good day. Ready to have some conversation and get it in and get it on. Today, of course, we got guests, so we're going to definitely be on our best behavior. Our guest today is going to be Ms. Logan Burke, who is the CEO for the Alliance for Good Energy. She's going to join us about 4:20. I didn't let this subject go, so I hope that you all understand why I didn't let it go, because I think that we need some answers. The answers to what happened and what was the issues that need to be talked about Sunday's power outage. What you said, Sunday's power outage? Yeah. For the 100,000 folks that were without power on one of the hottest days so far of the year. Why did the power go out and did not come back on until almost 8 o'clock that night? Oh, we see and hear all the bobbleheads that are now talking about that it was, what is it? Miso's fault. It was Miso's fault because they didn't let us know and yeety. I'm like, ain't that interesting in itself that we would say that it's Miso's fault? So the question should be, have you ever heard of Miso? That's number one. Then number two, what was done about it? What's the preventive maintenance, the preventive measures to make sure that nothing like this happens again, being that this is just May? What in the world is going to happen when we get to June and July? And remember, this weekend kicks in June 1. What? Yeah, this weekend kicks in June 1st. And if you are not ready, then we're going to still be paying out our yin yang to go get us some generators, to go get us some air conditioners, to pay these power bills and think that everything is going to be all right. And it's not. Y'all know that we have had some of the hottest summers in the last couple of years where the heat index is like 110, 118 degrees. Everybody's like, well, yeah, that's true. That is true. And have you thought about what's going to be the alternative if you can't go and spend a couple of $100 on an air conditioning and a generator? What's your alternative? We don't have one. Exactly. But have you heard one that comes from the folks that are supposed to be the regulators for your power company? What's your alternative? I haven't. And they're going to give the regulator another, what, week to come up with an answer? Another week to come up with some designs? Another week to say that, well, it was Miso and we haven't done anything about this. Yeety. So, is this a pass the buck and don't give a? Because I don't know if we should, if we're really talking about this. Are we really talking about this? Are you mad? Are you thinking about preventive stuff? Because again, I have to say, this was last weekend, right? It's May. What are we going to have in June and July? And how do we make sure that this does not happen again? I'll take some of your telephone calls early if you want me to. Because I heard that everybody is, putting together their hurricane preparedness plan. The city got its hurricane preparedness plan. Hurricane preparedness? I know what my hurricane preparedness is. We packing up and getting the hell up out of here. I'm prepared. Load up the truck, baby. We gone. You gonna take somebody with you? All three of us. Me, myself, and I. Well, that sounds very selfish. When I say let's go, you better be ready to go. Well, I need to wait till no. When I say let's go, you better be ready to go. Nah, I'm just pulling everybody's chain on that one. I need to make sure I say it right because that sounded pretty selfish. I am going to ask some folks probably to go because I know some folks that are going to be a little bit stubborn about leaving your materialistic things. And it shows me that every single time that we have something that goes on here, you can get those materialistic things again. Because we keep using the same words. We're resilient. Don't you hate that? We're resilient. And maybe it'll teach us a lesson on how we get control of our stuff again because, they're going to come in here and try to make sure that a lot of folks ain't coming back. Yeah, they don't want you back. Are you going to give in this time? So here we go. Let's go back to Sunday. What were you doing Sunday afternoon? They are saying what'd you say? No, what'd you say?
I said I was drinking.
Grinning?
Drinking.
Drinking?
Yeah.
In the heat?
In the heat.
I can't drink in the heat. But to make a long story short, and I'm trying to get everybody to get in on it because I really need them to pay attention to this story. What were you doing Sunday afternoon? So we had rolling outages across New Orleans, and not just New Orleans, Jefferson Parish as well, and many residents and local officials asking why they were not notified soon enough about the blackout ordered by regional grid operator MISO. At the height of the blackout, more than 100,000 customers on both the North Shore and South Shore lost electricity. An outage was also reported in St. Bernard, Plaquemine Parish, and the West Bank of Jefferson Parish. Power was successfully fully restored by Monday morning. Commissioner Eric Skrmetta from the Louisiana Power Service Commission, the Public Service Commission, not Power Service, but Public Service Commission, explained why the blackout was necessary and what needed to be done better. One area that needs to improve, Skrmetta said, is the notification process. Well, the notification program is significant because it was such a rapid event that Energy, in particular, has contracts with a lot of the industrial customers where they can turn them off. They're called interruptible contracts. And the RTO manager, MISO, did not even give a chance to curtail those contracts to conserve power. So this was an emergency event. And to not give any notification of any kind is unacceptable, said Scrimetta. He says he and the commission will look into what led to the short notice. But the commission is going to have a meeting on June 18th at our regular meeting. On June 18th, now, this is what they're saying they're having a meeting. It's May, but they're going to have that in 2-3 weeks. And we are going to engage on this particular issue. So about 2 weeks ago, Shreveport experienced a similar event through a different RTO manager, the Southwest Pod Pool. The similar type of event with a much smaller number of people affected, but again, with a very short notification with less than 3 minutes. So we're going to talk about this at our last meeting and tell these RTO managers that they needed to develop a plan for notification to the public. I got several questions, and I'm going to have to go and get ignorant on this. What you say, Cedric?
Hey, Gerard.
What's going on with you?
Man, look, I live in the infamous Lil Woods, but I didn't have no power outage.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a power outage in Gentilly, behind that Walmart where the school is, because my daughter lives there. And how I found out, the grandkids call me anytime something go wrong. If the air conditioner break, grandfather come get us. That's how I found out Sunday.
You are
and I thought, I asked my daughter, I said, well, what happened? Did y'all? She said, we ain't got no notice or nothing. And I never heard of MISO.
Mm-hmm. Me neither.
I don't know who them people is. And then you talked about the other day that we got this whole big old generator, some other big power plant over here that we pay for and nobody uses.
Yep.
What kind of fracking bull crap this is, right?
Yep.
Why they keep intercoursing with us, man?
What's it there for? And you paying for it still?
Yeah, and Gerard, if I don't pay my water bill, my light bill, whatever cable, and they cut it off, I understand that. But if I'm paying my bill constantly and my power go out, I want somebody to answer.
Well, there are two different things that I have questions about, but I'm gonna wait until I can get a conversation with Ms. Logan Burke. And the reason why is because I know that she's going to, because I'm going to throw these questions out here, and these questions, I know that she's the professional that she can answer these different questions. But I am going to be dogging a couple of folks too, because I think that it's just egregious that in 2025 we're still going through something like this. But this is one of the first times that I've ever heard that we've had this many people out of electricity with a rolling blackout. They call it a load shed, but it's a rolling blackout.
And who is these MISO people, man? What their job is?
We're going to ask her that too.
Thanks, Gerard.
We will definitely make sure that we ask her that too, because it is imperative that we try to find out how many times my power go through different hands.
Yeah.
How many times? All right, Cedric. Thank you, brother.
All right. Thank you, man.
Hey. So no matter how we look at this issue, whether it happens or whether it does not happen, we need to have some answers for this. There needs to be some alternatives, because anytime that something happens, we're looking for alternatives. We have some things that I think would serve us as people that pay a whole bunch per kilowatt, that we should be able to get some answers for. That's Ms. Logan. Okay. Hey, Ms. Burt. Ms. Burt?
Yes, can you hear me?
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you today?
I guess you heard me talking about you. Your ears or something must be burning, because I've been talking about you. I said, uh-oh, she early. How you doing, first of all?
Oh, not too bad. Just trying to stay dry.
Yeah. So let me make sure I give you the correct the correct introduction, because Ms. Burke is the executive director of the Alliance of Affordable Energy. You've been there since what, 2013?
You got it.
And
that's
participated in dozens of regulatory proceedings at the LPSC. and New Orleans City Council and the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, Department of Energy. You've been through the whole gambit of all of them, so you probably know them by first name.
I do my best. Yeah.
So let's get into this quickly because Ms. Burke, I got to tell you that I've been here now because I'm not originally from New Orleans, but I've been here over 35 years, and I got to tell you, this is one of the first times that I've seen that this rolling blackout has affected so many people across the region.
Yeah, this was a pretty big one. And to your point, it's not something that happens very often.
Mm-hmm.
The last time there was a load shed event like this was Mardi Gras Day 2021. That was part of that larger winter storm Uri. We heard lots and lots of stories about what was happening in Texas, but Louisiana also lost a lot of power that time exactly for the same kind of reason, because we couldn't get or move enough power to where people needed it.
Mm-hmm. Who is MISO and what do they do? Because I keep hearing this name of the company and I'm like, I've never heard of them.
Yeah. Well, so it's MISO. It's not a soup. It stands for the Mid-Continent Independent System Operator. And what they do, they're actually a not-for-profit entity.
Mm-hmm.
They're an independent organization that oversees both transmission planning, supports utilities in that transmission planning, but also oversees energy markets on an annual and a daily basis, ranging from the Gulf of Mexico all the way up to Canada, down the center of the country. And so they also are in charge of making sure that the most cost-effective power generation is available to all of us at any given time, and make sure that the grid is healthy, that it stays up and running.
Mm-hmm. And when we use the, I guess the correct terminology here, one of which is, I hear some of my folks saying this is a rolling blackout, then the other folks are calling it load shed. Is there a difference between the two?
Not really, no. The purpose of a rolling blackout and the purpose of load shed are exactly the same. They are a last-ditch effort. They are the last option that a grid operator has to preserve the grid from larger blackouts and failures on the system. And you might have heard about things like this in California, but what would have been better had we known in advance so that people could have reduced their energy usage themselves. But what clearly happened here is it happened very quickly. Mm-hmm. And what we don't know yet is what broke, what led to such a rapid, devolvement of the system.
So, is this an indicator of what's to come? Because we're in May, and
right,
and we're talking about during our summers we're talking about the heat index being 100, 118. Somewhere in that neighborhood. And I just think we were like, 91, 97 degrees. And I keep hearing that, we had to do this because it was of the number of people using power here. And I'm like, wait a minute. We're still in May. Is this what's to come?
Well, I certainly hope not. The thing to know is that we're in May. And that actually indicates partly why potentially some of this happened. During what they call the shoulder months, during the fall and the spring, when people aren't using quite as much energy as they do in the summer and winter, mm-hmm. That's when utilities take power plants and transmission lines offline to do maintenance. Just like, your car needs to have an oil change or whatever. You have to do that with power plants and transmission lines too. You've got to be able to maintain them. Mm-hmm. And so we are in that shoulder month season when the power companies are all preparing for the heat of the summer. And that means that some of the power generation and some potentially transmission assets were already down. We already know, for example, that well in advance of this event, one of our nuclear facilities, I say our, I mean that because I use power that comes from it, that's up in the river parishes called Waterford. That one is down, and that was already down for maintenance. What then happened is other things were forced to go down, and that included Riverbend, which is another nuclear facility, and some other things that we don't know about yet. But the reason I point out this sort of shoulder season, maintenance season, is that this is the time when not everything we have available to generate power is available to generate power. During the winter and the summer, typically, everything that is available in our region is ready to go, whether it's already online and generating or it's ready to crank up when we need it.
Okay.
So while I am certainly concerned about the future and I want to make sure that we get answers about long run and why why MISO wasn't able to move power from Mississippi, where there was plenty of it, there was an oversupply, to South Louisiana, where we really needed it. Those are long transmission planning needs.
Right. I tell
But
you what.
in the short term, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but can you hold that thought for a minute? Let me let you get a glass of water here because you got a whole bunch to tell me. But my producer needs to take a break here real quick, and I want to come back and have some more conversation with you in just a minute. Everybody hold tight. From the Alliance for Affordable Energy, the head executive director, y'all. She's in charge. Logan Burke is with us. We'll be right back. Everybody hold tight.
Late nights are made for chillin', and you can do just that every Sunday night at 10 p.m. as DJ Wick brings you The Love Zone. It's the perfect way to top off your weekend with your favorite old and new school ballads. So sit back, relax, and let DJ Wick take you to the Love Zone on WBOK and on the World Wide Web at WBOK1230.com.
NOLA Public Schools is excited for the rest of this 24-25 school year journey with our families, watching our students dive into learning, growth, and success. As the school year continues, our dedicated educators are focused on keeping every student engaged and motivated. Let's keep embracing new challenges, celebrating achievements, and supporting each other to make the rest of this year even more impactful. Stay connected with your school and NOLA PS through our social media channels for updates and resources. We're here to help our scholars attend today, achieve tomorrow.
Hi, this is Cary Grant. Let's elevate every Tuesday through Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. as we discuss the community, the country, and the world, from politics to current events and sports. We look forward to your input and continuing the quality programming on your community station, WBOK. Join us every Tuesday through Thursday, 6 to 7 p.m. on Elevated Conversations, the Arnie and Cary Show.
The Tuskegee Airmen Flight Academy of New Orleans is soaring into its second year and looking for Orleans Parish High School students that are interested in aviation. Applications are now being accepted at NOLARedtails.org through May 19th. Again, the website is NOLARedtails.org. The Tuskegee Airmen Flight Academy of New Orleans, where the sky is no longer the limit.
This summer, let your child's creativity shine at Camp Art, New Orleans' most vibrant, arts-driven camp experience for kids ages 4 to 12. Hosted by Beyond the Stage, Camp Art blends visual art, theater, music, dance, and creative writing with New Orleans history and culture. Plus, field trips, guest artists, and camper showcases. With full-day programming before and after care and sessions starting June 9th, it's the perfect fit for working parents. Fun, enriching, unforgettable. Register now at BeyondTheStageLLC.com/campart and follow us on social media at Beyond the Stage LLC.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM. Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Welcome back. It is Thursday afternoon. Joining us for this segment of the program, we appreciate that she's with us. From the Alliance for Affordable Energy, the executive director, Ms. Logan Burke, is on the phone with us. Ms. Burke, thank you again for joining us for this part of the conversation, because I think a lot of folks trying to get some answers here to what happened on this Sunday. We're talking about 100,000 folks that were without power during that time. You had started up a comment. I want you to finish, though. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's fine. I think generally what I was saying is to answer your question about what are we going to do in the heat of the summer. The hope is certainly that all of the generating power that utilities and independent power producers have in our region will be available to us in the summertime. The concern, though, is why couldn't the power that was available in Mississippi get to us down here where we needed it this last weekend? And part of that is due to not enough transmission investment.
I'm sorry, what does that mean? Transmission isn't far of it going through the transmission lines?
Yeah, so transmission lines, those are the ones that
They're the big
ones that
lines.
cross the lake, cross
Right,
the river,
right.
go, through rural areas. They carry power at really high voltages, basically from power plants to where people need the power. And in order to make sure that all the power that we need at any given minute is available to us down here where we live, sort of at the end of this load pocket, at the end of the transmission line, we need to make sure that there is adequate transmission to move that power from where it is. And when you look at the map from last weekend, you can see that there was actually plenty of power available in southern Mississippi, southern and central Mississippi. There was even extra power in northeast Louisiana. But what happened was there weren't enough transmission lines to move it down to where we are. And that is a real problem.
So, okay, so here's where I needed some clarification because you understand this a whole lot better than I do. One of the things that has been really getting under my skin was the fact that I would say Energy New Orleans, we went through, I think, a big doo-doo, a bunch of doo-doo when we started talking about this brand new power plant that we were putting out in New Orleans East. And they said that any time that we had a load shed, or when we needed power, it was going to be there for us. And this is the second time that we've seen this thing just sitting dormant. Why wasn't that used to load in the power that we needed?
That is a great question. I don't know if it was sitting dormant. What I do know is that it wasn't nearly the scale of the load shed that was asked, basically because it is about 130 megawatts, and Entergy was being asked to basically dump 500 megawatts. It wouldn't have reached that need. But there's something more important here, which is that gas plants typically require more time to get up and ready to put power on the system. Most gas plants, coal plants take hours, even days. Nuclear plants take 2 whole days to come online. What we had was 3 minutes. That's not enough time if that power plant was over there. So that's why we're saying something really big happened and disappeared, basically, whether it was a transmission line or a power plant somewhere else that was putting power into our region. Something went away, and that is what happened here.
Okay, so here we go thinking about the future again. We live in a city that is surrounded by water. It's a bowl.
Yep.
How come in our alternatives have we not started having conversations about hydropower? If you start looking at the Mississippi River, you're looking at a current or a flow of water that could generate just as much power every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's number one. Number two, in places like New Orleans East, they found out through a bunch of different companies that were loading up these homes with solar power. I'm trying to figure out how come we have not had the right technology to go ahead and say if there's a power outage, or better yet, if your solar panels are producing energy, that it should be some type of switch that I could cut the energy that's coming in from those power lines and energy, and I could use the power that I'm storing instead of selling it back to the power company.
Yes, sir. So I've got good news on the first question, or rather, I've got bad news on the first question and great news on the second one.
Okay.
All right.
Mhm.
So I'm going to give you the bad news first. What we understand about hydro is that the kind of technology that's used for hydroelectric generation has a problem with the Mississippi River where we are, because so much silt, basically so much mud and stuff is coming down the river. You know, that's what builds land down here. And what we understand from at least the last time it was researched, I think about a decade ago, is that all that silt and mud was getting in the way of turbines that they were attempting to try and generate power from the river. Now, that was a decade ago, and maybe there's more or better technology. I would love nothing more than to see us generate power using the Mississippi River. But that's something that we would need for somebody to do some research on.
Go ahead.
So that's the bad news. But the good news, all right? The good news is that, to your point, we have a lot of solar all over our city.
Yes.
And to your point, it isn't currently available when the larger grid goes down. The good news is the New Orleans City Council right now is considering a program. They're looking at a program that has been proposed by organizations like the Alliance and Together New Orleans and others to put batteries where all those solar panels are so that they can do exactly what you're saying and protect people when the larger grid goes out. The council is considering spending roughly $32 million on a program like this that could go on homes and businesses and pharmacies and churches, all kinds of things. And this is exactly the kind of thing that we know we're going to need, because it's the sort of thing that is responsive in 3 minutes, that will be there for us, whether it's a load shed event or a hurricane.
I just know that I'm not certain, but last time I looked at this, it's been a little while. I need to probably look at it again. That these solar panels generate a certain amount of energy, and the energy company buys it back from you. Well, they don't buy it back equivalent to the price that they're charging you. So you're getting your solar power bought back by the power company at a cheaper rate than what they're charging you. So to me, that's like stealing from me.
So here's really good news, though, okay? That is true in Louisiana outside of Orleans Parish. So if you live in JP, if you live in St. Bernard, if you live in the North Shore, that is the case if you put solar on your rooftop right now. That is not the case in Orleans Parish. In fact, if you put solar on your rooftop, if you have solar on your rooftop right now in Orleans Parish, you get a 1-for-1 credit, the same value as the kilowatt hour you're buying from the utility as a credit on your bill. The reason Orleans Parish is special like that is because the New Orleans City Council is the regulator of Entergy New Orleans and has defended our ability to make our bills lower using solar. And that's really important, that these city council members, in their role as regulator, have the ability to preserve that right for us. So this is something that's incredibly important. I want all your listeners to know is that our city council is in an incredibly powerful position. It's really unusual. It's, in fact, the only city council in the country that has this kind of oversight of an investor-owned utility like Entergy. And so they are able to create programs to get batteries in people's homes and to make sure that you can get good credit, value for the solar you have on your rooftop. But also what's important as it relates to these load shed events is they are in a position to require Entergy to plan their system differently, to plan it better, so that if a power plant goes down or one of the transmission lines go down, that we can still have access to the power we need. That is really important, and we need everybody to push them to do that.
So how would I do that, though? If you say that we have a great city council persons as the regulator,
Mm-hmm.
how would I, and what would be the plan? What plan would you say needs to be in place that if energy is telling me we're going to have these load shed events, CLECO as well, I'm going to put CLECO in this too, and we have these load shed events, then how do we let the folks know that when your power goes out, don't worry, we're going to kick it in? Because one of the things that I think has got to be done is we need to have alternatives to what's being said now. I don't care if you're telling me that we're just going, well, I got to let you know we're getting ready to have a load shed event. That's letting me know that I'm going to be sitting in the heat.
Yep.
But I need to be able to say, hey, look, I know that when the power goes out that it's going to kick right back on because we've done some alternative planning.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the issues, though, Ms. Burke, is the fact that I've seen some buildings, and I think in Jefferson Parish, that Energy has automatically installed generators on them just in case the power does go out.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right?
Mm-hmm. You are right. I know of at least one building that has an Entergy installed generator on it in Jefferson Parish. Here's the thing that worries me, though. If we all invest, let's say, I'm actually going to point to an example I know of that is real. Down in St. Mary Parish, after Hurricane Ida, there's an area down there where every other house put a generator on their house, right?
Right.
I'm sorry, it was every third house. When Francine hit and the lights went out again and all those generators cranked up, the gas system wasn't prepared to deliver gas to everybody's house and everybody's little personal power plant.
Mm-hmm.
And what wound up happening is those generators weren't able to get the gas they needed, but worse, the local sewage system couldn't get access to the gas it needed to do its job, and people got sewage in their darn bathrooms. So these issues are all interconnected. And if folks are going to be investing in these gas-fired power plants at their homes or their businesses, we need to be thinking about what the next consequences of that are.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the reasons we think, excuse me, that putting solar and battery backup is going to be a much better solution. It's not going to put more strain on our gas system, and therefore cost us all a lot more money. And it's going to be available to us not just when the power goes out, but to reduce our bills every day of the year.
Mm-hmm. And I like the fact that you can. And the only reason I'm speaking of I've had this conversation with several of the solar panel folks, and then installed it on my house.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, and then I didn't like the fact though that if the power goes out, that there's not a switch that cuts it off from the regular transmission lines to be able to use the power that you're storing with the solar issue. So that's what I'm wanting to see. And then I got really upset when I started hearing the companies saying that they're shoring up the grid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that is so the question that you asked before, how do we get our city council members and public service commissioners to do what's needed, which is invest in these programs so that you can get a battery at your house and require the utilities to plan for transmission that will help us make sure we have power when we need it.
Because no matter how we look at this, though, Ms. Burke, I mean, the power is going to go out, whether it's a bad storm, whether it's a load shed, or whether it's something else happens because maybe somebody had an accident and hit a telephone pole. I'm not wishing that on anybody, but how do we make them say, okay, cool, instead of me saying, and I'm ranting here, but I need to get this off my chest. So you understand.
Do it. Yeah.
And what I'm ranting about is every time I hear that there's a meeting with the commission about getting a rate hike, they get it.
Yep.
Or I got to give you $200 million because you had to replace the telephone poles and you want to do this. They get it. When are we, as folks that are paying these bills, going to get something for their dollar?
Good question. That is a really good question, and the only answer I have for you is to make sure that the people who are making those decisions, that is the Louisiana Public Service Commission and the New Orleans City Council, hear from you. I'm talking to you directly, but I'm also talking to everybody listening.
Right.
That they need to know that we understand that they are either asleep at the wheel if they aren't doing what we need them to do, or at very least they know that we are watching. And the more of our elected officials who know that we are watching and know that they have a responsibility here, the better. So I'm real glad that you are talking about this and asking these questions, because if people don't know that our city council, who by the way, there's an election coming up this fall. If everybody doesn't know that there are 7 people that we elect to make these kinds of decisions, then we are unfortunately not holding our elected officials to account.
I mean, think about something though, Ms. Burke. Every week, including today, every week in the summer, we're going to have this conversation, not because the power is just going out. It's because we can't even get power to produce enough electricity to fund the generators or the turbines to move the water out when it floods.
Oh boy, I hope that's not the case. That is really concerning, because we got to stay dry. This is another one of those reasons that we need real planning. We can't just put Band-Aids on things anymore. I feel like this is one of our problems in New Orleans, whether it's our streets or it's any of our infrastructure. We keep depending on Band-Aids.
Yeah.
We need actual planning that isn't just a Band-Aid anymore.
So has anybody asked you all to come up with a plan that they could see or hear about? Did anybody ever ask? I mean, it sounds like to me that when I read all the stuff on the Alliance for Affordable Energy, it looks like you all already have the solutions.
Well, we've been saying some of them for an awfully long time. We've been asking the City Council and the Public Service Commission and Entergy to invest in this kind of planning for almost a decade. We've been encouraging the investment of batteries so that we can actually put that solar to use. We've been encouraging investments in our homes so that our houses are more efficient, so we're not just air conditioning our attics. The problem is always, our recommendations being heard. And I think the more people like you who know that these solutions are available and say, hey, City Council, hey, Entergy, we got to do this.
Yeah, but when you got a $1 billion company that has a whole bunch of money to give lobbyists.
Yes, sir.
I understand. So they're going to do whatever they need to do to get what they want done. But this has gone on too long.
It's gone on too long. And I will say this. I am a firm believer that the people have the power. Yes, indeed. We have a Fortune 500 company here that is making decisions that does benefit its bottom line. But the people, we are the ones who make the decisions about who makes the decisions about them, right?
Right.
And so, but if we don't know, if we aren't educated, if we go into an election season in our city and people aren't aware and aren't asking people who are asking for their vote, how they will treat Entergy, how they will treat ratepayers and taxpayers and the citizens of the city, then we aren't doing our civic duty.
So what plan, if you said that, here are some of the alternative plans that we have, what would be the number one plan that I would say, let's get the people behind this and see how we can move forward?
Well, one of the very first plans, one of the very first things that I'm going to mention here is energy efficiency. When the power does go out, if your house is more efficient, you can stand it a little bit longer, right? And that's whether it's hot or cold. And so many of our houses, we've got high utility bills because we are wasting energy. And anything we can do to reduce that energy waste, that's less power that has to be generated somewhere or moved here or shed by the utility, right? So energy efficiency is the most cost-effective thing we can be doing. The second one is something that the City Council is considering right now, which is that investment in batteries so that we can put the solar that we've got in our city and new solar to better use, right? So that's the next thing. Those are
when you say
things.
they're considering it, and I hate to be dogmatic about this, but I need
do
to
it. Do it.
Which one of them are dogmatic about this issue in the first place, and say all of them, or anybody in particular that's on your side with this?
What I will say is that the council opened a docket last fall, and all of the council members supported opening this proceeding.
Okay.
This proceeding is underway, and right now the council's advisors are developing a report and a recommendation for how the council should move next.
All right. Do me a favor before you go on. I'm sorry again.
Yeah.
My producer's telling me you need to take another break. So hold that thought again, and I'll be right back, and we'll wrap up the show. Okay.
That sounds good.
All right. I apologize again. Hold on. We'll be right back with Mr. Logan Burke, who is from the Alliance for Affordable Energy, and we got some telephone calls too. Everybody, hold tight.
Hoops, Heat, The Truth, on demand. Ball Don't Lie is now live on all podcast platforms. Tap in, search WBOK Media, find Ball Don't Lie, and bring the fire with you wherever you go. Download, share, and leave that 5-star review, because the game doesn't stop when the show ends.
Are you passionate about community safety and police accountability? Tune in to The Monitor's Mic, where we talk about oversight, policing, and you. Hosted by the Office of Independent Police Monitor, we're here to shine a light on policing issues that matter, from real-time policing updates to in-depth interviews. Get the facts and stay informed. We're breaking down complex issues, highlighting community voices, and holding people behind the badge accountable. Join us for an informative hour every Friday at noon on WBOK. Your city, your police, your show. The Monitor's Mic.
Do you know what United Way can do for you and your community? Find out by listening to United Way and You every Thursday at noon on WBOK 1230. United Way continues to fight for the most vulnerable members of the community. Find out how this Thursday and every Thursday at noon.
Fresh produce, local flavor, and a healthy you. New Orleans East Hospital is hosting a farmers market the last Wednesday of every month from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Join us in the parking lot across from the main entrance. Support local farmers and your wellness. We'll see you there.
Are you now, or ever wanted to, be in the biz? The NAACP Hollywood Bureau is proud to present Be in the Biz, a one-day symposium designed to share valuable information and access to some of the entertainment industry's top power brokers, writers, directors, producers, and storytellers from all forms of media. We'll learn about pitching techniques, adapting scripts to screen, collaboration between creatives and other media executives, and all the behind-the-scenes roles for creative professionals. Be in the Biz is coming to New Orleans on Saturday, May 31st at Studio B. For more information and to register, visit @Hollywood Bureau on Instagram.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZzzQuil.
ZzzQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZzzQuil nights. Explore our products at ZzzQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Get in on the conversation at 504-582-9422. Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back to the program here. Gerard Stevens with you Thursday afternoon, and our guest on the line with us from the Alliance for Affordable Energy, Ms. Logan Burke, is still on with us. Ms. Burke, as we get ready to wrap up here, you were saying something. I didn't mean to interrupt you again, but please take the floor.
I think I was just generally saying that it's incredibly important that all of us understand how powerful our city council is in making decisions that can keep us safe when it comes to making sure we've got power and making sure we can all afford it.
Well, I'm probably part of that standoffish crowd with the regular citizen that this has been going on for too many years here, and I haven't really seen the type of service that I think that a lot of the folks are going to get, but the amount that we pay for that service is not equaling out. So I think that there has to be some type of initiative or initiatives that are being put forward that they got to consider. It's time to move forward and make the energy situation here a whole lot better.
I agree with that. I do want to just point out, though, that the load shed situation we had this weekend is somewhat different from the kinds of blackouts and regular sort of sunny day outages we're used to experiencing, unfortunately. Typically, those outages that we experience are because things break. We understand that our distribution system, that is the poles and wires that move power to our homes, those need a lot of maintenance, and they appear to go down an awful lot. They are not reliable. In fact, when you look at Louisiana's relative reliability as compared to others in the country, we are at the bottom.
Wow.
Right? That's different than not being able to get power to people, right? So the difference between a power pole and a local transformer going out and a larger infrastructure transmission issue about getting power to where people are, they're two very different things with the same unfortunate outcome.
Yeah.
And that's why, we do need the city council to be pushing and improving the standards, the reliability standards that they've passed for Entergy.
Are you all going to be in front of the city council during the time that this? I think that this is going to be in front of the city council in June.
On Tuesday.
Are you going to be there?
Right. We will be there. We won't have a seat at the table.
No?
We are in an advocacy organization, but we will use our comment period, that's for sure.
You're not at the table?
Just like lots of advocacy organizations here in New Orleans and Louisiana, we are part of the community. And so we offer our comments and we submit letters, just like you can.
Yeah, I just think that they need to have some conversations with the professionals that have the alternatives to what's happening. Alternatives seem to be the answer to the same old, same old. So
yeah, we're going to need them.
Got time for a couple of telephone calls here real quick?
Sure.
Okay. Mr. Elmore.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Good.
See, look, this is the thing, I think. Now, the city council and the representatives that we have, the people that's supposed to represent us on this board and whatnot, please, our question, if they really understand how the grid system, electrical works, this is the thing that bothers me. You need to hire somebody that understands how the grid system works, an electrical engineer, a power engineer, someone that understands. And, I get so sick and tired of utility companies. They're crying, they're begging.
Yeah. But Mr. Elmore, give me a question real quickly because I'm running out of time. Give me a question.
And then they're always telling us what needs to be done. And the taxpayers, we as citizens, paying an arm and a leg. I mean, you know the problems you need to get your system work. That's your that's your problem. That's not mine. I mean, I hate when they say you got a problem. How do I have a problem when the citizens are paying a ton of money to get the services they need, and all of a sudden they have a problem and they want you to pay for it?
Okay, let me let Ms. Burke make a comment here, and then let me get to the last call. Thank you, Ms. Elmore.
All I can say is and especially since people in New Orleans are paying enormous utility bills, we should be getting what we're paying for. And fortunately, we have a say, and we've got to push back much harder.
Yeah. Okay. All right, James. James? Did we lose James? We lost him? All right. Okay. We'll get him next time then. Ms. Burke, I want to take a minute here to say thank you so much. When is this meeting going to happen with the city council?
Sure. The city council is having a hearing on Tuesday the 3rd, June 3rd, It'll be at, I believe, 10 a.m. in the morning in council chambers. The Alliance is also going to be hosting the night before, Monday the 2nd, a town hall in the evening. You can go to all4energy.org. We're hosting that town hall so that folks can get educated about what happened and also talk about what their experiences were. And we can talk more about how the city council can hold Entergy accountable.
Where is this going to be?
We're going to be doing our town hall online, so you can sign up. It's via Zoom.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get everybody to show up. All they need
yes,
to do
that's
is be
right.
on Zoom. And that is allforenergy.org.
You got it.
All right. You got to make yourself available and come on here and have these conversations a little bit more. I'm sorry. I'm just making sure that I get the conversations that are needed instead of just having sessions on here with everybody that has no answers. I need answers, and I think that you all have a great platform to get them out. And if I can help you do so, please use this as an open microphone for the Alliance and for yourself, okay?
I sure appreciate it. You take care of yourself.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you again.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ms. Logan Burke, who is the Executive Director for the Alliance for Affordable Energy. All right, let me take T-Bone here real quickly and see if we can get him. T-Bone?
Oh, man. Well, I would have held out because I was hoping that we could have asked the lady that was on, because I remember hearing her on the morning show, I think, with Dr. Wyatt about the same issue. What exactly, if it is, in the city charter or constitution that is keeping energy being the only energy provider for this city? I've been asking that question.
It's in the charter. I mean, that's the charter. That is the Bible and what the city operates in. That they would be the only, just like we have Cox Cable, they're the only ones. We have Energy, they're the only ones provided. And who else? Somebody else. I forgot who it was.
Sewage and Water Board.
Sewage and Water Board. Yep.
See, but that's those things are antiquated. That charter is antiquated.
Mm-hmm.
We're living in the 21st century now. Why are we still dealing with third-party solutions in a 21st century environment that's needed? Why? It makes zero sense.
You got to be very careful in what you ask for.
I know what I'm asking for because I've gone to another city and seen it in action.
I have done so too. I lived in Houston for a minute, and honestly, when we went into the house that I was in, I had 3 or 4 different people come into the house saying, "All we need to do is slap a meter on your wall, and we'll be your new service provider." So I was like, "What?" Same thing with the cable, and you get a better deal.
And we did get better deals.
And when you are in a competitive industry, they want your business.
Yeah.
But if I ain't competing with you, I can charge you what I want.
And see, that's the thing. That's part of the problem that I've been talking about.
Yep.
A monopoly on utilities that should not still be there.
You are correct, Amundo.
So, but see, you got me on the short. See, I wanted to get more into it, bro.
I'm glad I got you on the short. There you go.
See, bro, that's just wrong. Just hateration, boy. You stop drinking that haterade, G. You wrong. You wrong, dog.
Right. I got the haterade.
Yeah, you drinking haterade right now. You don't let a brother breathe. You won't let a brother breathe or say nothing.
You know I love you like a play cousin, boy.
No, you don't. No, you don't. There ain't no love, man.
I gotta go. I'll talk to you later, bro.
All right, G.
Later. News is next, folks, and we'll have another conversation coming up. Everybody hold tight.
From the campus of Xavier University, WBOK Go and Equity Media Station.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker is threatening to veto any state budget that includes broad-based taxes to balance an estimated $1 billion deficit.
I'm telling you, anything that's broad-based and that would have a negative impact on working families, I would veto a budget like that.
Pritzker said he would specifically veto any budget that includes tax increases on individuals, corporations, or the sales tax. The Capitol Jewish Museum reopens today in Washington, D.C., just over a week after a deadly shooting outside. 2 Israeli embassy staffers were killed on May 21st. The museum opens at noon following a memorial service for the victims. And President Trump has pardoned rapper NBA YoungBoy, who faced fraud and gun charges and commuted 6 life sentences for Gangster Disciples co-founder Larry Hoover. Hoover remains in prison on a separate 200-year sentence for a 1973 murder in Illinois. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Welcome back. Thursday afternoon on your way home, please drive with care. A lot to talk about. We're going to get it in on today as we talk about things that are happening positive in our community. There is a big football camp that is coming. It's called the Jacoby Jones football camp. Everybody remembers Jacoby Jones, who passed on July the 14th in 2024 due to his hypertensive cardiovascular disease as he passed at the age of 40. So God bless him and his family. But happening very shortly, there is a football camp under his name. Joining us now, we're privileged to have him on the phone with us too. We've got Torrey Smith with us. Mr. Smith,
what's going on? How you doing?
How you doing, brother? How you been?
I'm doing all right, man. Excited to be down here in New Orleans and represent for my brother Jacoby Jones.
Yeah. Let's talk about this. Because a lot of folks that may know Jacoby Jones, which was probably shocking to a lot of the folks in the NFL as well as just playing sports. He passed, cardiovascular disease? Was that a heart attack?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get into, everything that, in terms of reasons how, but, definitely some health issues that he didn't know about, and it was sudden. It was completely unexpected. But, for Jacoby, obviously he's, New Orleans born and raised. Right. My introduction to New Orleans culture, besides my favorite, and Master P, the boys, was Jacoby Jones and who he was as a man and being right here in this city, having great times, great experiences with his family, having a charity game right there at the same university that you guys are hosting out of, and giving his heart to the city, being here, playing in the Super Bowl at the Superdome. He had a Mr. 108 scoring a 100-yard touchdown and on the kickoff return and catch a pass in the Super Bowl, man. A lot of great memories right here in New Orleans. Yeah. And it's an amazing way to celebrate his life, continue his legacy, and, let the kids in New Orleans have a great day, just having fun, enjoying the game of football in his honor.
Well, let's get some rules and I guess all the different things happening with this camp. Maybe you can give us some scoop too. Who's coming? Who y'all know coming? Because I know that a lot of y'all will tell. When I say y'all, I'm talking about you professional football players. Y'all will be like, hey, let me call my boy, see if he can come, and they'll show up on it.
Hey, it'd be a lot of Jacoby's former teammates. Jacoby played for the Texans. Obviously, we played together with the Baltimore Ravens. So several Ravens teammates coming down, including Ray Rice. Several of his Texas teammates. And
so a lot of the Texas guys are coming too then, because it's right next door.
Yeah, so he has guys that he's played with in multiple stops that will be out there to support the kids and families in New Orleans, but also, to continue to keep his legacy alive.
Yeah.
And, again, just have a great day. I'm looking forward to it. The weather's holding up. It's a great opportunity just for the kids to come out, have a good day, again, and enjoy the game of football.
Mm. So this is a youth football camp. The age categories are going to be from what to what?
From 8 to 14. So basically middle school, from 6 to 14. Basically 6 years old to middle school. And it's over at Pontchartrain Park. You can go online and look up Jacoby Jones Foundation on Instagram. The link is still there. You can register in person. And we don't plan on really turning anybody away. So I want to make sure that the kids have a great time. Again, and it's going to be fun. Miss Emily London, Jacoby's mom, has done an amazing job bringing her energy, her heart, her love to continue to keep her son's legacy alive as well. and she has heavy ties over there at Xavier. So I appreciate y'all allowing, me to get on here and
absolutely.
to talk about it, represent her.
Absolutely. Anything positive that you all can bring to the table and do for the kids, man, we want it to be all about it. But this is happening on Saturday. It's hard to believe that we're at the end of May already. So this is happening Saturday from 9 until 1 o'clock at Pontchartrain Park. For those who want to know the address, it's 6039 Press Drive, which is out there by what? Is that by Suno? Ain't it by Suno? Yeah, that's out by Suno. I'm looking at some of the stuff on the flyer. And it says camp activities, skills instruction from all pro football players and trained coaches, team building, plus you're going to feed them. All right. Yes, indeed. All skill levels.
We always feed them at the end of camp. Now, you come to New Orleans, Mama Jones is not going to let you come down here and have an empty stomach. Believe that.
Yes, indeed. 8 a.m. sharp, everything's going to begin.
Actually, 9 a.m. Everyone will be out there to check in. And, it'll wrap up about 1:30, and the kids will eat and get on out of there.
Very good. Now, how do they get a part of this? Is it a number to call? Because I'm looking too that it's
there is no fee. It's a 100% free camp.
Okay.
Again, you got to sign up on the link. Go to Jacoby Jones Foundation on Instagram. The link's there. And you'll be able to see. I've actually shared as well my social media page, Torrey Smith WR, TORREY Smith WR, and just come on. And if you're not the best with computers, just show on up Saturday morning, and we'll make sure you're taken care of.
Very good, very good. Anything else too? I want to make sure we've covered everything, but is that just about it too? Because I know it's going to be y'all probably going to be packed.
Yeah, as of right now, there's already a few hundred kids on the list, so being pre-registered and showing up are two different things. So again, our arms are open to everyone, and again, it's just about having a great time, bringing community together. Letting these kids go out there, have some fun, and make sure we're doing our part to continue to keep the legacy alive.
And I'm gonna quote you again. You're telling me that y'all not turning away nobody.
Nobody.
All right. You said 200 to plus 200 gonna be out there, so we'll see that.
Yes,
all right.
Well,
very good.
Only thing is, we ain't turning away nobody, but my gray hairs might pop out some more. But we're gonna do it.
That's all right. Mr. Smith, I appreciate everything that y'all doing. This is going to be, I think, a good event for everybody. So good luck with it. And we'll make sure that we talk about it some more and let everybody know how they can get out there and get their kids registered.
All right, thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Thank you again, brother.
All right,
All right, there we go. So that is happening on the 31st. Can you believe that we're there at the end of May already? The youth football camp is happening in Pontchartrain Park. 6039 Press Drive, this Saturday the 31st from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. You're going to get a chance to see a lot of these pro football players that are going to be there, just like himself, Torrey Smith. He's going to be there, and hopefully you'll get a chance to meet him, get maybe some gear or get your autograph and learn some of them skills. Get them skills together. All right? So if you need some more information, we'll post the flyer so that you can get it. We'll post that on our website so that you can get it, all right? All right, 504-582-9422. We got to get into some of the other news. As I make these comments, and I have some conversation about some of the news happening on today, I guess the top news on today was the fact that the cost of all of these officers that are out here searching for the last two inmates from the Orleans Parish jail is going up, and they're trying to figure out how these cops are going to get their money from overtime and long hours. But the other thing that was interesting today, did anybody see the press conference with Crime Stoppers? What? What are you talking about, Gerard? That they took the price for Crime Stoppers. I think it was like, 5? Then went to 10 or 20. Did y'all know that the price as far as if you give them the tip and they can find where these guys are, the last two, did y'all know that the price per inmate had gone up to about $50,000? What? Yeah. Yeah. The price. On day 14 of an ongoing multi-state manhunt, top law enforcement officials doubled the reward. They doubled the reward for information that leads to the arrest of the two remaining inmates who escaped from the New Orleans jail. They increased the reward to $50,000. They gonna get them now. If that was your cousin.
Hell yeah. I could use $50K.
If that was your brother. And you knew where they were. Would you turn them in? Come on, somebody. 504-582-9422. Would you turn them in? I'm trying to hold my tongue, boy. I'm trying to hold my tongue. Would you turn them in, though? For $50K. So, some of my folks, when I asked it earlier, had told me earlier, $50K. She could have had $50. It would have been on like Donkey Kong. I was like, oh, Lord. George.
Man, look, bro. I called the FBI. I got him in the closet. And hold on. I got to get that phone number for, what's them people? Who them other people offering money?
You talking about Crime Stoppers?
Yeah, you got to call Crime Stoppers to get the other $30K. I got the brother in the garage looking for...
Have mercy. You need Jesus.
He in the garage, man. He's looking for a fishing rod. He hungry. He want to go get some fresh fish. I'm giving him up, bro. I don't care. He could be my own son at this point. $50K?
You turn your own son in for $50K?
Boy, you know I trained you. I raised you better than to be stupid and go out there and commit crimes. Now go back there in the garage and get my pickle jar. Hello, police.
Boy.
My son in my garage looking for a pickle jar. I told him don't come here. I don't know why he came here, but he here.
Why he in your garage looking for a pickle jar?
Because that's where I want him to be when the police come get him.
In the garage?
Looking for a pickle jar, and I
You need Jesus, for real. You and your pickle jar.
I'm telling you, bro. I'm giving him up. I can see Granny calling him right now going, look, boy, I raised y'all better than that. I told y'all about Crime Stoppers. Can you connect me to the FBI? He's in the garage looking for a pickle jar. Did you see that part of the interview, right? Where the state police guy was saying, he said what he said, bro. He said, look, I know this might be hard for a mother, a brother, any family member to be picking up that phone. I know it might be hard, but, you know, it's with the law. It's what you must do. Oh, and by the way, we got $50K for you. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard.
George.
He said, it's going to be hard. I know it's going to be hard. But it's either that or you come up with some bail money. You got your choice.
Goodbye, George.
No, bro, no. Hold on, bro.
Goodbye.
Hold on.
Goodbye.
Because I can't have these kind of jokes if I ain't listening to Gerard G. Van Stevens on WBOK or the Reality Check. Bruh, I'm going to miss out on some black facts I need to know and a few jokes along the way. I'm trying to tell you, bruh, I sit in the Dunkin' Donuts to get a dozen of donuts, officer. He should be in Dunkin' Donuts standing in line right now.
Goodbye, George.
Bye.
How did Dunkin' Donuts even get into this anyway? But anyway.
Keep the party going.
More news. What other news you got, G? I'm glad y'all asked. The Orleans Parish District Attorney, Jason Williams, has made a statement back after the sheriff, Susan Hudson, asked the Attorney General to take over the case. So the Orleans Parish District Attorney, Jason Williams, said he already requested the Attorney General handle the case before the sheriff filed a motion to recuse his office. So the ongoing fallout has now extended into the dispute over who should lead the investigation into how 10 inmates managed to escape from the facility 2 weeks ago. Jason Williams responded Thursday to efforts by Susan Hudson's office to have his agency recused from the investigation. But according to Williams, the sheriff's motion may be too late because he had already handed the case over. Huh? Williams said his office received paperwork from the sheriff's office today seeking to have the DA's office formally removed from the investigation. However, Williams said his office had already made a formal request to the Louisiana Attorney General's office asking Attorney General Liz Merrill to lead the probe. Both the DA's office and the Attorney General released statements within the last hour confirming the developments. A spokesperson for Merrill's office said that they launched their investigation on May 16th, the day of the escape. The statement also acknowledged that the DA's office had formally stepped aside last week following what it called certain demands to the sheriff. Last week, after issuing certain demands to the sheriff, the district attorney determined it to be proper to step aside from handling the investigation or prosecution of matters related to the escape, the Attorney General's office said. 8 of the 10 inmates have been recaptured. 2, Antoine Massey, and Derek Groves, remain at large. As of Thursday, 16 people have been arrested for allegedly helping the inmates escape or evade capture. We got to take a break. Let's take the break here. We'll come back and we'll get to the telephone lines. What you think about this one? Because y'all know I got my own thoughts, but because I am, I would say, working with the sheriff, I try to keep them in, but this one we may have to make a comment on. What you think? 504-582-9422. More coming up, y'all.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat. Actively Black is a growing athleisure clothing brand focusing specifically on the tastes and styles of people of color. And it's owned and operated by former college basketball star Lanny Smith. I talked with Lanny, and he expressed to me how important it is for him to use his platform to reinvest in underserved communities. Through the brand and his Active Faith initiative, he's put together several local events for communities, including ones focused on mental health.
We did one at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood for Inglewood, residents. That was very powerful. When you think about how much mental health is talked about now, a lot of people miss out on the fact that there are a lot of people who don't have access to that. You know what I'm saying? So just even being able to have events like that to give that access to people who lack it is amazing.
Actively Black also has a special focus on healthier food access and HBCUs. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies to same item. Current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at Lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet. So make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818. That's 800-215-6818.
New Orleans, are you ready for a voice that says what you're thinking? Who that, you might ask? Arrington Gavin. That's right, I'm your guy, host of The Arrington Gavin Show, giving you so much filled with bold opinions, real conversations, and zero sugarcoating. We're going to be diving into the issues that matter, politics, pop culture, and all the above, unfiltered and unafraid. Catch The Arrington Gavin Show weeknights from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., Monday through Fridays, right here on WBOK, what New Orleans is talking about.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation is the nonprofit organization that owns the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival presented by Shell. With the funds generated from Jazz Fest, the foundation invests in Louisiana communities through economic development, cultural enrichment, and free educational programs. To learn more about the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation, please visit us at www.jazzandheritage.org.
The National World War II Museum, located in the Warehouse District of New Orleans. The National World War II Museum tells the story of America's experience in the war that changed the world, why it was fought, how it was won, what it means today. Visit them online at www.nationalww2museum.org for time tickets and safety information.
Hello, I'm Gary Clark. Please tune in to Dr. Clark 101, The Living Classroom, which is broadcasted weekly every Wednesday at 12:30 p.m. on WBOK 12:30 a.m. on your dial. And as always, it's been a pleasure.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 12:30 a.m. Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 12:30 a.m.
All right, folks. Don't forget today at 6, we've got Arnie and Carrie going to be in the air chair having some conversation with you. Make sure you check them out, all right? Pop Jones!
Hey, G-Man.
What's going on with you?
How you doing, G-Man?
I think I'm still hanging in.
Yeah, G-Man.
Mm-hmm.
You already know I'm not the sharpest man on the jaw.
I think you got some razor blades on you somewhere.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, you got some razor blades.
I'm trying to figure this one out.
What you doing?
Is your boss running for sheriff again?
Yes, she is.
She is?
Yeah. I think a lot of folks got it. I think a lot of folks got it wrong when she said, "I'm pausing." I think that's what it was. Yeah.
So she just temporarily.
Temporarily, because she wanted to make sure that those guys got back in, got caught and put back in jail. That's number one.
Okay.
Then the other part of it is she knew there was going to be some type of investigation and all that stuff that's happening, which it is. I mean, those guys from the state are over there every day. FBI, state, AG's office, auditors, all that. They're over there every day. And so her concern and her attention needed to be focused on that, and that's what she's focusing on. So she's getting ready to get back into the fold again. And
so I know she got your support.
Well, I mean, I'm doing what I got to do because I think I'd be biased if I told everybody that I'm on her team because I am a announcer and I've got at least 2 or 3 folks on because, whether it's said or not, I'll be the first one to say it. I know Woodfork. I've known her for 30 years. I know her dad. I know her mom.
Yeah,
and I know her sister.
That's where I'm going.
I've known Susan for 25 years. And
okay.
I knew her before she was the sheriff. I knew her while she was the police monitor. I can remember the day that she moved here coming in from Austin. I've known Shorty. I've known him for at least 10 years because he's helped me in the past when there was some legal stuff that needed to be done for a couple of friends of mine. So I know him too. I don't know Mr. Parker. I have not had any runs-ins with him as a judge, so I don't know him. But anybody else I probably know. I know a lot of folks, don't necessarily meaning that.
So that kind of puts you between the devil and the deep blue sea, huh?
So the best thing for me to do at this point, though, Pop, is not to make those comments in favor of anybody because it'll show my biasness. I'm already going to be considered that way anyway. I already understand that. This ain't my first rodeo in no politics. So
but you got to support your boss. Huh?
I'm going to do my job. Yes, I'm going to do my job.
I know I'm not. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I'm not a dummy either.
Well, no, I don't think you're no dummy. No.
You got why would you not support the goose that laid a golden egg? Huh?
I'm still looking for that golden egg. You know what? We got a golden egg somewhere, boy. You need to give me that 50 grand in.
Boy, look, just because you come from North Carolina, that don't mean you don't have no sense, huh?
No. I look at this situation.
Somebody say you wasn't a citizen, boy.
Yeah, they
boy,
did.
You like the boy from Troy.
Because I wasn't from here. That's what they said. Because I wasn't from here.
Yeah, you wasn't from here. But
I was like, damn,
you like John Lewis, the boy from Troy.
Well, look, I got deported already.
Yeah, you the boy from North Carolina.
They deported me to Gitmo or something, huh?
So I already got my answer.
Yes, indeed.
I think in North Carolina, G-Man.
Good. My family seems to
be
doing
people,
all right.
Yeah.
I have to keep in touch with several different things there. Not only do I have my family, but we've got some businesses that we got there too. So.
What? Say, boy, I'm at the jack you to get a little change from you.
I ain't the sharpest knife in the drawer here.
Go ahead on. Don't answer that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this because I want to talk to you about this. Are you paying attention?
I've been knowing you a long time. How did them two girls doing, man?
Doing good. Both of them doing well. One
they don't have no grandchildren yet.
Don't put that on me yet.
Oh Lord!
Don't put that on me yet. One of them on the other end of Louisiana, and the other one on overseas right now.
Oh, she overseas?
Yeah, on vacation.
Oh, she on vacation.
Yep.
Where she live in Georgia, huh?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But she took her vacation, so I was glad to see she went.
Yeah. Tell them don't wait till you get too old.
Huh?
Tell them don't wait till you get too old.
For what?
To get some grandchildren.
I just think the best kind of kids to have right now is the ones you can give back.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
Here you go.
I know you was going to straighten me out.
That's my line. I done already practiced my line. Here you go.
Yeah.
Yep. So.
They know they papa, huh?
Don't even put that on me yet. Not yet.
All right, G-Man.
Here you go. Take your baby. Mm-hmm.
Yes, indeed.
How the wife doing? She all right?
She's doing wonderful, man. Taking care of her, man.
I know she's sitting there right there by you.
Yeah, all the time, man.
All right.
Don't leave my side.
Yes, indeed.
I tell her.
Man, you got a bodyguard then.
Somewhat, yeah.
There you go. All right, let me get back to my conversation.
All right, how my boy doing?
Who that?
Jazz.
He all right. I saw him last week.
Oh, you saw him last week?
Jazz got a big old recording studio.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, man, he's doing fine.
Yep. Yeah. So.
Okay.
All right, my friend. I'll talk to you later.
All right, G, man.
Bob,
take
thanks.
care.
You too. All right, 504-582-9422. Let me give you this. So one of the things, too, that has been a question, and I thank you for those of you that understand what I'm talking about, because I've gotten so many different telephone calls from you. I don't answer on that question because I don't think it's in my best interest to do so, since I need to stay as neutral as I possibly can, which ain't that neutral. It's not. It really is not. But this doesn't have anything to do with me and my support for the sheriff or Woodfork or anybody else. This had everything to do with, do you all think that Jason was taking advantage of his position and who he supports to make comments about the sheriff? And were you surprised that sheriff filed papers to get the district attorney removed from the jail investigation? Come on. Were you surprised? Then somebody asked me, well, what you think? What you think? Now, this one I'll comment on. I will. You may disagree with me. But I was surprised that it took this long to file those papers. Now, the district attorney said she's already asked the AG, the Attorney General, to take over the investigation, and she may be talking about the sheriff, may be too late because he already asked. But wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. Do I disagree? Come on, G, tell it. Ask the question. It's not a question to ask. I do disagree. I think, even though that Liz Merrill has said, hey, can you take over the investigation? Liz Merrill already told him that she was going to do the investigation from the beginning. Because the Attorney General was standing up there when the governor asked the Attorney General to do the investigation. Hello, somebody? Hello? Is this thing on? Can you hear me? Hello? I could have sworn I saw the governor on a press conference last week say that his Attorney General was going to do the investigation and that he was going to send auditors. They here. And the Attorney General said that she was going to bring in her folks too. They here. I have never heard the district attorney say, I'm going to get her to take it over. I hear you downing the sheriff. I hear you keep using the word incompetence. I've never heard you say, oh, we're going to, because the last that I heard is that you've made a report that said that your investigators, your forensic investigators, couldn't get into jail to do a DNA test or to get DNA. She waited a whole week. So if that's the case and we 2 weeks in this, why are you still saying stuff like your people couldn't get into jail to take a DNA test. And why are you taking a DNA test in the jail when you had at least, 10 people to get out of there? So you're going to get DNA tests of who? And you don't know who else was in that cell. Am I wrong? Come on, somebody. 504-582-9422. I ain't got that much more time before I get out of here. But I'm of course looking at this and saying, what took the sheriff so long to say, I'm tired of this? I guess you push. It's almost like that old story said. Y'all know the story, the old dog story. Y'all remember the old dog story? The old dog story. You know, old dog is that dog that'll come lay on the porch while you sitting in your rocking chair and he ain't gonna move. Just lay on the porch. Then you always have that agitator that's gonna come up and guess what? Somebody kick that dog just look at you. Somebody kick that dog again, the dog just look up at you. But it's going to be one of them times you kick that dog, and that dog going to take your damn leg off. Well, Lefty, I think you just lost some ankles. Because this, I already had this, I already asked. So you in the legal profession, instead of saying, well, I already asked her to do so. It don't look like it. You're always talking about your forensic examiners, those investigators. I think what hurt this case, and I'll say it too, it is the fact that you keep calling people incompetent. Don't forget, you got an election coming up next year. And you know that them folks in Baton Rouge will come after you with every bit of force that they got. You already know this. And they already know who you support in the race. Some people, to me, just don't listen. Some people, to me, just don't listen. Yeah, I know that. Hell, I got them calling me sometimes, getting on the show, thinking they putting themselves in a position where they're going to down me. But no matter what, you're just looking for attention. This is my show. I don't have those calls on the mobile. I'll tell you and hang up on you. Y'all know that. Y'all saw it yourselves. I'm not obligated to take your telephone call or talk to you about anything. I really am not. But why is everybody dogging everybody? I thought, now this is something too. Now I want to get this out here too. When I listened to the gentleman that called me yesterday, was it yesterday, day before yesterday, one of the two, from, I think it was San Diego, and just said, black men have failed our kids. They ain't just failed our kids. I'm going to just put this in perspective, and y'all tell me what you think. I agree with what he said. I do. I think that we have forgot how to hand it down or share it with the folks that are beneath us that we think are younger than us? How are we supposed to train up a child when you ain't even looking at that child? But yet, how are we supposed to be able to say our community has got to get better, but yet we're dogging one another in the community because you think you're better than somebody in politics? You understand what I'm saying? How do you keep dogging somebody in politics when they dogging you? Because I can honestly tell you there, Mr. District Attorney, they coming after you, bruh. They gon' come after you. And they gonna come after you and it ain't gonna be quick for nobody that you dogging to support you. You have embarrassed too many of them folks. And trust me, you own the radar. You are on the radar. And I'm hoping that somebody will at least smack you on the back of the neck and say, dude, you need to pay attention. Because all of this personal incompetence conversation, that need to go away. And black folk, not only black men, again, I'm not talking bad about my friend who called in from San Diego. Well, he said black men, but I would say black folk. We need to start supporting one another, and instead of dogging one another, we need to start figuring out how we can help one another. How do you help one another? Because at the end of the day, you don't control nothing. And if they want you, they gonna find a way to get you. And that's coming. I don't even think we've seen nothing as far as the politics is concerned yet. Y'all wait till next month. June is this weekend. Y'all wait till July. July, all the folks that want to run for office, not just here, I'm talking about the judges too. So all the judges, if y'all listening right now and y'all think I'm just talking about the sheriff's race, y'all too. They want y'all more than they want the sheriff. They want the district attorney, and they want those daggone judgeship seats. They done already made it a point to start talking about you, talking about some y'all don't go to work. You don't do this. You got, what they say, judge trials instead of having regular trials. You're not putting enough people in jail and all this. Keep on. Keep on staying at home and not going to work or not having court on Fridays. Oops, I wasn't supposed to tell that. We don't have court on Fridays. Y'all better start. You don't think nobody watching at you? You are not invincible. Trust me, they got a counter on you. And they already got bills in federal court that they're trying to block, and they got bills in state court that they're trying to put their own folks in place. And guess what? The place that they're trying to do it first is that St. George area. They're trying, that's the kissing ground. That's why they're trying to make sure that they get it right before they take it everywhere else. They did it in Jackson. Baton Rouge, you next. So don't think that I'm just damn criticizing them. I'm not. You next. So all of y'all that got that melanin in your skin, you better need to get your melanin get together in your forehead, because you better start thinking, y'all. Don't think you're invincible. You next. More coming up, folks. Everybody hold tight.
AURN News.
President Trump issued a wave of pardons and sentence cuts for over 24 people, many of them vocal supporters. On the list, a former Army lieutenant convicted for defying COVID-19 orders, reality stars Todd and Julie Chrisley, who defrauded banks of $30 million, rapper Youngboy Never Broke Again, free just months after pleading guilty on weapons charges. He also commuted the federal sentences of Chicago gang leader Larry Hoover, though Illinois still holds him on state murder counts, and let venture capitalist Imad Jabiri, who donated over $1 million to Trump's inaugural fund, out early. By sidelining the usual Justice Department reviews, these clemencies reward political loyalty over standard criteria of remorse or rehabilitation. And with pardon czar Alice Johnson helping choose recipients, critics ask, is clemency now a tool for loyalty? For these stories and more, go to AURN.com or follow me across social media at Ebony McMorris.
It's Off the Top with Norman Robinson on WBOK 1230 AM.
I'm waiting with bated breath for someone to hold President Donald Trump accountable for the lies that he spreads on a daily basis. It's downright embarrassing. His lies are a discredit to the integrity of the Oval Office and the people of the United States. We were once considered a nation to be revered and respected, but thanks to our liar-in-chief, we are now perceived as a nation to be pitied and scorned. The most recent incident to garner international blowback was the meeting at the White House between Trump and the president of South Africa, where Trump held up a picture and played a video which he claimed were proof of genocide against white farmers in South Africa. Both displays have now been discredited. Trump claimed the picture showed white crosses that marked the graves where murdered white farmers had been buried. The truth is, there were no graves, and the white crosses had been planted along the roadside as part of a national protest by white and black South Africans admonishing leaders to do something about the overall murder rate in that country. And the video that Trump played of bodies being loaded in an ambulance was from Sudan, not South Africa. The attempt by Trump to tag the president of South Africa with genocide was, in my mind, a botched attempt to justify allowing 59 white South African refugees to relocate to America while at the same time denying refugee status to people from black and brown countries. Let's be clear. There is no genocide happening in South Africa. Multiple international organizations, including the United Nations and Human Rights Watch, have found no evidence to support such an allegation. South Africa does face serious challenges, violent crime, land inequality, and political corruption among them, but those are systemic and affect citizens across racial lines. Trump's language isn't just inaccurate, he's dangerous. He borrows directly from white nationalist talking points, portraying white South Africans as uniquely persecuted, while at the same time ignoring the deep scars left by apartheid and the ongoing socio-economic struggles of the black South Africans. This isn't basic misinformation, folk. These are lies deliberately meant to skew perceptions, to actively undermine diplomacy, and to feed global extremism. Politicians often boast and exaggerate selectively, choosing facts to make their points, but telling bold-faced lies to fan flames of fiction is disgustingly outrageous. This is Norman Robinson, Off the Top.
Plan on flying? It's time to upgrade to a Real ID. Because in order to board domestic flights, your driver's license or state-issued ID must be a Real ID, or you'll need another acceptable form of identification. So don't wait. Find out how to get your Real ID at tsa.gov/RealID. That's tsa.gov/RealID, or visit your local DMV. And then you'll be cleared for takeoff.
Connect with NOLA
Public Schools. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and X for the latest updates. Sign up for District Digest, our official newsletter where we share district achievements, celebrate student successes, and keep you informed about our vision of providing a high-quality education. And don't miss our school board meetings. Watch in person or live stream on YouTube. Stay informed, stay engaged. Visit nolapublicschools.com today. Again, that's nolapublicschools.com.
Hi, this is Arnie Filko. Let's elevate every Tuesday through Thursday from 6 to 7 o'clock p.m. as we discuss the community, the country, and the world, from politics to current events to sports. We look forward to your input and continuing the quality programming on your community station, WBOK. Join Carrie and I every Tuesday through Thursday, 6 to 7 o'clock p.m. on Elevated Conversations, the Arnie and Carrie Show. See you soon.
Saints of God, it's time for us to tell you the truth. It's time for you to start your 21-day challenge. Don't take another day. Do it right now. Call 504-701-4711. That's the Whole Water Stove, Pastor David Impartian Sr., the host of Change Your Water, Change Your Mind. This is the water that's designed to change your body, the way you think, the way you act, and the way you look. Why don't you start your 21-day challenge today? For $35, you can start it right now. Call me so we can set up your appointment. 504-701-4711. That's 504-701-4711. Change your water, change your mind.
WBOK and LCMC Health are proud to present Keeping You Well Cafe. 60 Minutes with LCMC Health, where the doctors speak directly to the people of New Orleans. LCMC Health is committed to improving the quality of care here in New Orleans, the Gulf South, and beyond. The Keeping You Well Cafe is another way for LCMC Health to engage with the community. At the Keeping You Well Cafe, LCMC Health joins WBOK and local businesses to answer your questions about wellness and health.
Visit DePaul's new Algiers Health Center at 2801 General de Gaulle Drive to receive primary and preventive care for both adults and children. Services also include behavioral health, imaging, and on-site pharmacy, vision, Medicaid enrollment assistance, and more. For appointments, visit DePaulCommunityHealthCenters.org or call 504-207-3060.
WBOK. Better pay attention. Powered by Cox Business. Here we go. The Reality Check on WBOK 1230 AM.
Hi, folks. Yes, indeed. Coming up at 6, just a few minutes away. We will hear from Arnie Felko and, of course, Carrie. Going to be take into the 7 o'clock hour. As I get ready to go today, I see I'm getting a lot of amens from folks that understand and see exactly what's going on in the world to me, which is good. I am going to have another conversation, and I know that a lot of my law enforcement friends have been waiting for me to have this conversation on air about how they're being treated. Is it fair? But let me let you know, I did not let it go. I didn't let it go. I am waiting to see when his schedule is going to be clear. That is Mr. Gallagher, Skip Gallagher. I'm asking him to come to the table, especially since his schedule right now probably is not as intense as it was with him also being a professor at a university. So we're asking him to come and let's have these conversations. Since we understand, too, that there are some other things that are going on. Now, when will that happen? I don't have the date yet, but we will. The other thing, too, that I'm going to ask is some of our folks that are legislators to come to the table because we need to go over some of these bills. Some of these bills that are coming out of Baton Rouge are ridiculous, and I do not think that you all are up to par on some of them. So, I think that our folks that are in Baton Rouge really need to do a better job of delivering the results and what are these bills that are coming out of Baton Rouge that are ridiculous. So I'm going to invite Mr. Mena to come back and have another conversation with us. For those of you that did not know and you're waiting to hear, I know that this is Cedric's baby, Cedric Roy. Cedric, they are saying that to get that garbage truck off the Carrollton overpass that tipped over, that is probably going to take at least 3 months. That traffic is terrible because you can't use that overpass. But they're saying that it's more than likely going to take at least 3 months. What has been interesting, I don't want to say it's funny, but it's what is interesting is that now you got the graffiti artists that are graffitiing up that traffic. I mean, that truck, that garbage truck, that tilt over garbage truck. If you get a chance and pass by it, I'm not telling anybody to just stare at it, but get a chance. You'll see the graffiti on it when you get a minute. All right. Okay. We about ready? Got some more? Okay. So we have one more situation that I want to say. Did anybody see the video? I didn't know it was a woman. I thought it was a man. But the video of the woman who got out of her vehicle, I think it's a truck or SUV, and pointed a gun at the police officers during a traffic stop in Marrero in the parking lot of a business in Marrero.
That happened today, right?
Huh?
That happened today, right?
I think it was yesterday.
Okay.
Look, I'm going to just say this. And I think y'all will be able to read it when I say it. If that was a black man,
oh, he would have been gone.
He wouldn't have been able to get out the car. She got out of the vehicle.
It would have been over.
And it was Jefferson Parish. I'm just saying. Ain't too much I can say about that one except leave it alone. But if that was us, that disturbed me. It disturbed me in two different ways. It disturbed me for the simple fact that that happened, and then it disturbed me because there was not a barrage of gunfire. Lord knows I didn't want that woman to get shot, but I think she did. But the fact that she could get out of the vehicle and nobody took her out immediately because she had a gun in her hand, that's what got me.
Oh, they would have acted on that quickly.
So, I'm just saying. All right, that's going to wrap it up for me now. I appreciate everybody for being a part of the conversation. And hopefully you got a little bit something out of this conversation that was today. I will see you again on tomorrow. So y'all be good and take care. All right, coming up, Carrie Arnie is in the air chair up next. Whatever you do safely, carefully is the way we want you to do it. We'll see you later.